Yamakwa Badela Likee TV na message send it over nation no hit and man no subscribe sim drop in the latest news bia obeje breno say to me akabi na ye bora ensema na the latest news for etimi abebom no ni nyina ye NSA boss gives you a warrior former NSA boss na obepimo Ghana no report to me say ye detained no 48 hours yes o match no nkan say o match no na eno na Udwini sembi ho a wonti ase se wo my Ghana o man a ye hwehwe sika nanso nkofu bi ghost name se mu nti sika gu mu botom like anu den to the bia ya monwene temamu fo ho chen se mu dwene mu nko am no na ye ngi ye mu nwram ye hwe nema ekoso ho ni ni nsem efiri ho ba ye ba de ka ho bia no ye de mu nsem bebrem mo.
Finally I hear Gift Oware is being arrested. We want to remind the NIB that 48 hours is 48 hours. Because you know today is Saturday, tomorrow Sunday. The Supreme Court has been very clear. If you want to detain her beyond 48 hours, please go to the court. There is a way. The Chief Justice Eni Yeboah gave the circular in 2020, sometime in 2020, on how to do it. You go and see the registrar. Tomorrow there will be a judge for you. You don't even need to get to the 48 hours. That's very
so
clear.
Even on Sunday, the court will sit.
Yes.
If so demanded.
Absolutely. You remember even recently the NDC cases, some of them on public holidays. And when the decision came out in 2019, me sitting here, I've been to court Saturdays on a number of occasions, and then the public holidays. And you see as I said a few weeks ago, the NDC petitions, some of them were held on a public holiday, right? Yeah, so please, NIB, let's do the needful. If you intend to keep Gift Oware beyond 48 hours, then today, I even prefer that go today, because the Supreme Court said, don't wait till you are getting to the 48 hours, because sometimes when you're planning that, okay, I have 2 hours more to go, so that's the time you start preparing, something may happen and you'll be late. The moment it goes beyond the 48 hours, you are in breach of the law. Very, very clear. They say 48 hours is 48 hours. That was so for Kufu's valedictory judgment. That's the last judgment before she left. She retired as a Chief Justice and Supreme Court judge. So please, let's try and work within the timelines. 48 hours doesn't mean that wait after 48 hours, then now you're prepared to go to court. No, it says within. If you arrest somebody, that's Article 14, Clause 3. If you arrest somebody, then or a suspect, whether suspect or the person is accused at that time, and there are differences, and you want to detain the person beyond 48 hours, then make sure that you go to court within, please, with all the energy I can master, go to court within the 48 hours, please, not after the 48 hours. And the more you wait and think that, oh, I'll get him before the 48 hour, if something happens, and then you don't find the court early enough and it goes beyond, it's a breach of the law. Gift Oware can sue you, and I'll be happy to represent her. Once it's 48 hours, that one, as citizens, we all must jump in, right? Because we don't know tomorrow.
So you'll be happy to represent Gift Oware?
Oh, yes, if once it's 48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah. If NIB breaches it, that one, let's not play. Yes, the fact that I want her to face justice doesn't mean that we should keep her beyond 48 hours. No, that one, let's not do that. It's not worth it. I mean, she has come into the country. If she intended to abscond, I'm sure she wouldn't have come back. So once she has come in, let 48 hours be 48 hours. And it applies to all of them. I mean, this is what there was a lot of abuse. That's why I went to court. So for those who don't know that case, 48 hours is 48 hours. That's the case of Martin Pebu number 4 versus Attorney General number 4. Please, Saturday, Sunday is no longer an excuse. The courts will open.
So previously they used to say because it's a weekend, when they arrest you on Friday, they keep you till Monday.
Yeah, it's long gone. That big man.
You challenge the law.
Absolutely.
And you got judgment in your favor.
Well, it's for the people of Ghana. I always say the Supreme Court is a policy court. So when you go, they look at the case. It's not even your English. You know, sometimes it's an irony. Sometimes you go back and read what you wrote and you say, how did I write this? Because you are not happy with the choice of words. Sometimes there are a few typos here and there. But it's a policy court. So they look beyond even the lawyer's abilities. So it doesn't matter. Sometimes your language may not be that perfect or up to scratch, but they look at it. Because even in India, and they've said it in our courts here, a lay citizen can just get up and write about a constitutional problem to their constitutional court. It's a letter. Yes, that's the form they do. You write, dear Chief Justice, there is this and this and this problem. Express yourself. When they read it and they see the problem, then they put together the brief. So the point I'm just emphasizing is that when you see the Supreme Court decisions, there are a lot of policy decisions. The Supreme Court is a policy court. It's not about, oh, I'll be shark lawyer, I'm crack. No. It's more about policy. Okay.
I see. Now, so this is Bible number 4.
Absolutely.
And so because of you, at least, nobody has to suffer the injustice of being behind bars or in custody for beyond the 48 hours with that excuse. At least with your own resources as well, you challenge the law.
Yes,
you
for God and country.
Law, and now all offenses are expected to be bailable, even though it's at the discretion of the judge.
Yes.
So you have Bible number 1, number 2, Bible number 3, Bible number 4.
Yeah. All
this delivering or improving on the justice delivery system.
Absolutely.
In this country. So congratulations to you once again. Oh. You have done your bit.
To the Supreme Court.
Anyway, so this is another matter we'll get into, this gift your worry matter as well. But I also want to now welcome for the first time on the show, Professor Sccinndgsmål. He is a renowned economist, former chairman of the National Development Planning Commission. Professor Sccinndgsmål, good morning. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
It's good to have you this morning. Join us.
Welcome.
Thank you. I would also be joined by Dr. Boama Otokono, who is the Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness. Because, Council, you mentioned agriculture and agribusiness as well. He will be speaking essentially about some of the issues that came up at the National Economic Dialogue and what the way forward should be. But I'll start with you, Professor Day. So this is not the first time we've had a dialogue like this, and engagements and proposals on how to address the economic situation that we're faced with. You observed what went on and some of the discussions that took place. The proposals that were made, did you get that sense of conviction that the commitment to implement them is there based on the comments that government has made or government officials have made during and after this dialogue? Prof.
First of all, so long as the country exists, there must be a continuous dialogue. And I think that especially at the beginning of a new government with inheriting the crisis we went through, the debt restructuring, I think it was quite ingenious for them to have very early to have this dialogue. I see the dialogue to have two elements. One is social mobilization, trying to carry the people along. So irrespective of the outcome of it, it was a good move.
Yes.
And it took too long. I think that the previous government missed it because everybody was saying that, let us talk together, no matter how difficult the situation is. Once you bring minds together, there will be a way out.
Yes.
I must say that on this occasion, the president, on the two occasions, about 8 years ago, 2014, he called the Sccinndgsmål one, which, because I was maybe younger, I was invited. I chaired one of the CIS.
Yeah, you were there. How would you?
Not just with you, we were not at the same level. I was chairing you well. That's for the joke of it. So I think that for that purpose, it was good. Secondly, I think that the issues which were touched were quite. But unlike the Sccinndgsmål, This one is much more broad areas. I think that it has to be translated into specific policy actions, and that you don't do it at this jamboree. And I don't know the type of arrangement they have. There must be an economic advisory group who really will support the minister for, in this case, the economic side, Minister for Finance. I don't know. Each time, by our constitutional provision, there's an advisory board of every ministry, and how he composes them and whether he will listen to them will be what will determine what will come out of it. But I decided on the second day to gate crash because I wasn't invited.
So
only to get to the door, and I was given a
card,
which means that at least my name was mentioned, but nobody invited me.
So if your accreditation was there, then it means you were actually supposed to be invited.
To be invited, but somebody just decided to ditch me.
Sometimes it's good to get crashed.
Yes, and I couldn't say that Stephen Adair was missing in action. I live in my village, and then everybody knows how. But anyway, so I sat in only for 2 hours because I wasn't. I just thought that I should show that I'm interested in national economic dialogue, whether I'm invited or not. And but when I sat on the economic subgroup, I was quite impressed by the type of people who were there, both the current governor and his deputy. There were, you could see from there, Mr. Mpianim, Kwame Mpianim. There was the 3 ex-governors, apart from the immediate one, which I think that I hope they invited him and maybe he turned it down. If they didn't, I think that it is quite good because.
But Dr. Addison was there actually.
He was there.
Yes, Dr. Addison was there for the first day.
The first day, okay. I went to the second day, I gave crash. So, and I think that that type of symbolism is very good for Ghana. Listen, at the end of the day, Ghana does not belong to NDC or NPP. I always say that. I don't know you, the politicians, how many people are registered MPP members and NDC members. They will be less than 250,000. And that is why sometimes, let me be honestly, I get angry when some party members say that, oh, he's not with us. No. We must always look for the right people. And the government of the day, you are blessed if you get the right advice and you implement them and you succeed. Because actually, to be honest with you, I've always believed that Ghana needs a government, a good government, which will be in power for 20 years.
A good government
which will be in power
for 20 years.
That doesn't mean that the same president get me. So that if
period you want
if John, you are thinking of, I'm not supporting you, 4 years you are going, but a government with a long-term strategy, which we implement it successively, because it takes that. If you go to, say, China, every 5 years, but they have a longer term, about 50 years, and they are going step by step. We cannot continue resetting the agenda. And that's what we actually, the fact that the NDC court talking about resetting the agenda today is just formalizing it. We have been resetting the agenda. Every government almost starts as if there's a coup. And then we start it all over again. So I think that is good. It's a good beginning, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It's really actualizing these broad, I look at the communique, very, very broad. It's almost like motherhood. You could have taught any economic 101 with it, but that is the beginning. It's now to bring them down into policy, because a young child said that after the wedding, cutting the cake. We have a serious situation of stabilizing the economy, which was mentioned there. I mean, they touch on all the relevant issues. We have the issue of how to balance the budget, how to raise revenue, how to rationalize expenditure. And then you come to the other areas. We are talking agriculture, but let me tell you, if we don't deal with galamsey, agriculture in the southern, forget it. Fortunately, when it comes to grains, we have the northern territories, which we can cash in. So there are serious ones, and I think that as they have begun, they will continue for the good of Ghana.
And as you indicated, this is not the first time we've had a dialogue of a sort, and the names change, and every administration comes with its own agenda. So for you headed the NDPC. So this whole
No,
talk
I was
about,
a chairman. Yeah,
yes,
there's a whole executive secretary.
But,
Okay, go on.
To that extent, that when we always talk about a long-term plan, and you say that to the extent that every 4 years we go to the polls, and there's a likelihood that after every 8 years, at least as we have seen that
So
cycle,
far,
there's always going to be a change. There's a disconnect between that call for a long-term vision and the continuous change of government. You would have expected that at least we should have a system where one party will be in power for 20 years. What
Yes,
should be the way forward in doing this?
Yes, I think that in fact, when I joined the UN, I was with the UNDP for 11 and a half years. And the first, as an economic advisor, the first thing they did was there was 4 of us recruited to let us tour all the Asian developing countries, South Korea, Thailand, and all of them, Malaysia, to see. And one of the things that really struck me was that
Eda masese se mo je bre o daily update TV ne so.